Doc is back. Welcome to Medically Speaking with Dr. Winston Alexis, hosted by Tyrone Robertson. Join Doc and his guests as they discuss healthcare and the Caribbean community every Thursday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on caribcast.tv, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and most other popular podcast platforms.
I didn't grow up here, but Broward County has become home to me. This is where I settled. I raised my family here and started my practice here. For over 20 years, I've represented my neighbors, people who needed help in a stressful time. If you find yourself in need of an attorney, reach out to someone you can trust, someone with a proven track record.
When a car accident or personal injury sets you back, call Scott McCullough.
954-989-3435.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this week's episode of Medically Speaking with Dr. Winston Alexis. Doc.
Yes, how is everything?
Well, I can't believe the time is just flying. It's been a week already.
You're talking about is about 20-something episodes since we started this.
Yes,
Can
and
you believe that?
the year has started to fly by.
Yeah, but that means it's coming back to normal.
I hope so.
Like Fauci said, it's coming back to normal.
We need it.
Listen, I don't know about you all. I ain't doing nothing unless Fauci say.
Yes, I'm working with his program also.
Anything he say. If he say flip tomorrow, I flip.
That's right.
Understand?
That's right.
And it's simple. Follow the people who know.
The experts.
Right, your neighbor down the road that tell you about chipping your arm never went nobody medical school, never went to nothing. And telling you what, listen to Fauci people. You need to listen to nobody else but that guy.
All right.
Totally experienced too. Look at HIV and all the things. This guy, you know.
Yes, the man.
And one thing, you don't lie. He came right on and tell him, okay, what I told you all about ending it. No, it doesn't look like it's going this way. Mm-hmm. We had to push it back another month. No excuse.
No, and he doesn't need to make any excuses.
No, nothing is perfect.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm all right.
You're good?
Yeah.
All right.
I listened to Fauci this evening, and I'm following all the rules. Even though I get the vaccination, still have to wear my mask.
Yes.
Right, still have to distance people. The reason for that is I'm okay, but I can give it to people.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? Even though it's not affecting my lungs, it could be in my mouth and nose. You understand? So it protected me, but it protected
the other person.
Right. So the person who vaccinated still got to follow the rules.
Of course.
It don't mean now I could go and have fat all over the place.
No, not at all.
But I'm getting people ready because it's about time when a lot of them are going to be getting the second one.
Yes.
It doesn't mean you don't wear your mask, and it doesn't mean you don't distance.
So all of the protocols need to be observed.
Yes, until Fauci say. Take off the mask and throw it away. So
quick question though. So do you think that the whole herd immunity concept is going to come in?
Yes.
It is.
Yes.
Okay.
Because again, understand, bacteria can grow themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to be in nobody's body. They could grow on meat on a piece of virus needs a human being to multiply.
Okay.
So if he can't find any more human being who he could go and infect, what you think is going to happen to him? Going to peter out.
Okay.
It's a simple principle. They need us to multiply.
Yes.
They don't multiply and then kill us.
Mm-hmm.
They go in us, and while we multiplying, they kill us. And as soon as we're about to die, they go into somebody else. Okay. So it needs a human being to continuously transfer the virus.
Gotcha.
That's why I'm telling you, it wouldn't kill me. That's what the vaccine mean.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't mean I can't give it to anybody.
Somebody else.
So I'm not worried about getting it again, even though there may be a small chance. But the main thing is I still have the people I'm around, my patients, everybody. When they come in here, you wouldn't believe I had the vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
I have plastic in front of me. N95, right? And I'm making sure I ain't go too close. When I go close quick and done. It's the quickest I ever do physical exam in my life. Hi, have a nice day.
All right.
But the point is, we got to continue following instructions, which bring us to, I think, what we want to talk about.
Yes. So, on the heels of our previous program, I've had several questions now about,
Sure.
we spoke about diet and everything that we know about diet out the window.
Right.
You spoke about insulin and the part that it plays in, controlling weight and such. So a question came up now about the whole thing. So diet, insulin, and diabetes.
Yeah. Because all we're talking about, somebody with diabetes might be saying, hey, why are they talking so much about insulin and getting...
Correct. And that is what
we know
stimulated the
insulin
conversation.
as diabetes.
Right.
The point is, diabetes also involves insulin.
Mm-hmm.
But insulin doesn't only work in diabetes. Insulin works every day, all day, in mine and your body.
Okay.
And I don't have no diabetes. Right? So all diabetes is, we talking about one defect with insulin, which is weight gain if you have a high insulin levels constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Insulin is, they don't have enough insulin. So the body overmake insulin. Well, I got it wrong. The body has insulin, but the cells cannot respond to it.
Okay.
They respond, but in a weakened fashion. Mm-hmm. So in order to get the job done, you have to produce more insulin. So they both have to do with insulin, but they're on different pathways. And by the way, don't you notice that people with type 2 diabetes get what? We have a fancy word for it, obese. That's not strange, because insulin also play a role in weight gain. All right, so let me clear it again. Insulin is in everybody's body, whether you're healthy, whether you're sick, you can't live without it.
Okay.
Because insulin is your gas.
Right.
Insulin is the fuel that make you walk, talk like we talk. But every now and then insulin goes out a whack. Mm-hmm. And it could be two basic reasons. Well, three. Either you're born with none, and that's called type 1 juvenile diabetes.
Okay.
The kids who get it at 10, 11, 12, 16, they have none. The people with type 2 diabetes have insulin, but the cells is not responding well to them. They have to go to put food in your cells, your liver, and they can't do that effectively. It's doing it. So the body said, Jesus, if I make more, it might override the inefficiency of the cells. So it override it, right? And your insulin starts to go up. Mm-hmm. And then as a diabetic, type 2, you start to put on weight. Right. And the elevated insulin, here's the whack, doesn't only cause you to get overweight. It damages your kidney. It damages your liver. The extra. Regular is good. Extra. Damage your eyes. Damage the blood vessels. And that's why people had to cut off the leg. Because the blood vessels in the leg become damaged.
Right. So
it's two different conditions. Regular insulin and misuse of carbohydrate cause elevated insulin that make you overweight. In people with diabetes, they have to lift the insulin levels so high that they cause even further damage than overweight. They damage the blood vessels.
Right.
You understand? But it's one drug, but in two different conditions involved.
So let me give you a scenario then, and you kind of try and help me navigate this. So when somebody is diagnosed as pre-diabetic,
right?
What exactly does that mean?
All right.
And how do you address that?
Right. It's very hard to measure insulin levels. Or it's too cumbersome. But we can measure sugar level easily. Mm-hmm. And there's a connection between height of sugar and elevated insulin. So we could extrapolate from how high your sugar going, what is happening to your insulin. You understand what I'm saying?
So is the reading that when you do your blood work, is that reading the insulin or the blood?
The sugar.
The sugar.
The sugar. Well, we could extrapolate. You can, but we can.
Gotcha. Okay.
For instance, if you have a sugar of 400, I extrapolate you in trouble.
So that is typically the reading that one would see that would let them say you're pre-diabetic.
Exactly.
Okay.
When you're running, let me give you an example. Let's say it's 90 to 100 for your fasting, 106, and you 94. I'm sorry, you're 108.
Okay.
You're not 106, so we have to call you diabetic, but you're not truly diabetic because you're on the borderline. And that we call pre-diabetes.
Okay.
Right? We're still going by your sugar.
Right.
Because we don't measure insulin. It's not so sugar is very easy. You could stick your finger. So we extrapolate. We know if you, and we have a new one in line now. It's called hemoglobin A1C. Let me explain what that is. When we stick your finger once, that's telling you sugar now. But I ain't going to tell you what your sugar is going to be tonight or tomorrow or day after.
Okay.
All right. So I will tell you what happened back in my day when I was training. When, it's black folks at Howard University Hospital. When black people smart, So there is some people who come. We couldn't understand this in the clinic. Every time they come, their blood sugar, good. But we see in other signs that how it's good and you still developing all these things. You know what they used to do? Eat one set of food and about 2 days before they come see we fast. So when they come, the sugar is normal. And from the time they hit the door, they go eat 6 pounds of grapes. Because they thought that the problem was the sugar. The sugar is a marker of something else going bad. They can't do that anymore. Why? I could draw blood on you, something called hemoglobin A1C, and it's telling me how your sugar has been averaging for the last couple of months. So you can't fool me by adjusting your diet from day to day.
So there we go.
So the hemoglobin A1C is more important than the sugar level. Because the sugar only giving you, as far as seeing how you're doing. Now, people who have type 1 look at the sugar and give themselves insulin because they don't have none. But people with type 2 they don't need to be doing the sugar all the time.
Okay, all right. And these are the reasons why we trust modern medicine right? And the science. Look at how far we've come with that.
Right, and I thank you for this. Listen, I was falling all behind on these things until Caribbean-American connection got me into this stuff here. So I had to go and do my research, and it's good for me. It's making me better.
You're back in the library.
Yeah, I have to because I don't like anybody to know more than me. It bothers me. My father caused that.
And that's the big brain of Dr. Winston
Yeah, my father
Alexis.
said you have to be first in everything you do. There's no room for second.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a short break and we'll be right back.
Dr. Ronald Moore and his team at Minimally Invasive Surgery perform laparoscopic robotic procedures with the utmost precision. As a bariatric surgery specialist, Dr. Moore performs a range of surgeries and operations focusing on areas and organs of the abdomen. For gastric sleeve, bypass, and banding, to endoscopic balloon and hernia procedures, call the Office of Minimally Invasive Surgery at 954-797-4220 to schedule your appointment. Minimally Invasive Surgery has 2 convenient Broward County locations to serve you. Call 954-797-4220 to schedule your appointment today.
And we're back to Medically Speaking with Dr. Winston Alexis. So, Doc, we just spoke a little bit about pre-diabetics and we spoke about type 2 diabetes. So, back to the pre-diabetic. When one is diagnosed as pre-diabetic, what should be done from that point until their next doctor visit?
It's good to know because you're on your way. As far as I'm concerned, you have all the genetic material or whatever causes for type 2 diabetes.
Right.
It's a matter of time.
Okay.
All right. However, this is the good part. And I don't want people to go and throw away the metformin because I'm going to say this. Just like diet, when we talk about weight, you could monitor your weight by watching what you eat.
Mm-hmm.
You can do the identical thing for type 2 diabetes.
Okay.
Because that will also bring your insulin. You understand what happens? You need less insulin, right? Because you're eating less sugar. And the less sugar you eat is the less insulin you need to process it. So literally, and remember, don't go tell your primary care doctor, Alexis, tell you to throw away your metformin. But the truth is, if you eat properly and you exercise properly, you would need no metformin, theoretically.
Right. I'm with you.
But most of us living in this kind of society don't have what it takes to see tons of food in front of you and don't eat it. And we have motor cars, so we don't walk to the grocery no more. We don't walk and buy the newspaper. We don't walk and drink some coconut water Sunday morning after church. I have a little
brunch.
Wait, no man, I have a little place next door to me. It's going to take me about 10 seconds to walk over, go through the back gate. I drive around in my big Benz, and go around and park up in the people parking lot. Until one day I say, Winston, this is madness.
Yes, but it's also madness for you crossing the street when you finish.
Yeah, no man. Make sure you go in the day. And stop by only light. But the point is, and a good friend from Jamaica visiting to me today who has diabetes. And he said, Doc, we are learning, he has a little business down there, that diet can cure diabetes. I said, no. You're making a mistake. Cure mean never coming back. No. Cure is like when you take antibiotics and you kill the bacteria, it's gone. Diabetes is genetic. No. But you can keep it under control all of your life.
All right. So
with diet.
Let's reinforce that point. Then.
Right.
The diabetes is not being cured.
No, it's being totally controlled with diet.
All right. It's being managed.
Right. Which is big different from you get a bacterial infection in your hand, you take penicillin, it's gone. You have to take penicillin and worry about it. Diabetes is for life.
But it can be controlled.
Sure.
And that is type
without
2.
medicine.
And that is type 2.
Yes.
Okay.
But I'm yet to find a human being who can do it on diet alone. That don't mean to say it can't be done. So I'm judging my people.
Hold that thought. So I'm going to loop back into, again, our previous show. And we spoke about fasting.
Yes.
So is there any good or bad that comes with fasting that you want to mention as it pertains to diabetes?
Everything we said before, diabetics need to do that because it's the quickest way to get insulin down. And it's the elevated insulin, not the sugar, that damage your body. It's not the sugar.
Okay, all right. So you're diabetic, fasting is good.
Right. By the way, there's a book called The Guide to Fasting or something. Go on there. Don't try to do this in you. Get a book on fasting that explains all the types, and you need to fit the type of fasting into your lifestyle.
Okay.
There's not only one way to fast, there are a bunch of ways.
Right. Okay.
And you need to choose out the one that fit with your lifestyle.
All right.
But for instance, I know I have some friends, not me now. If the fasting include no alcohol, they are dead. Because these guys would say, what?
But we're not talking about you.
No, not me at all. No, not me. Of course not. All I do, I'm wanting to say, thank God I am not a diabetic. I have other problems. Prostate is my problem.
All right.
But not diabetes. Praise Jesus.
All right. So back to managing your diabetes now. So again, you're pre-diabetic or you're type 2 diabetic. So you're saying then that, again, this can be managed without medicine.
Yeah.
However, it's difficult to do so.
And stay on your medicine until you successfully do it. Don't take it off and try and fail. Stay on it while you're making the transition. And when you think you're really eating low carbs and exercising on a regular basis.
Right.
Like getting up in the morning and brushing your teeth and combing your hair and bathing.
Mm-hmm.
Then you decide to come off. And by the way, your physician should be the one to tell you when he tests your hemoglobin A1C and thing, to be able to say, you know, I think what you're doing is good, you know. I don't think you're going to need this metformin anymore. You don't make that decision yourself.
Okay, so can be managed. Diabetes can be managed. Type 2 or pre-diabetic can be managed with your dieting or your eating habits, rather. But I'm trying to get her from that word now.
Yeah, eating properly.
Yes. But again, ensure that you are consulting frequently with your primary care physician.
Tell them what you're doing.
Yes. All right. So what else? Tell us what else to look for.
I think that's the big point. And then let me repeat it again. It's not people think it's the sugar. It's the response the sugar gets that causes the damage to the organs, damage to your liver, damage to your kidney, damage to the blood vessels flowing through your legs, damage to your brain, the blood vessels, so you end up with stroke, you end up with kidney failure, just like high blood pressure. That's why I think the two things are genetically aligned, but we haven't been able to prove it yet. But a lot of people believe whatever genes or collection of, is not one gene, would be a collection of genes cause diabetes. Some of those same genes, maybe not all, cause high blood pressure. That's why you see them go together all the time. And that's just observation. Nobody has proven that yet. That's the Alexis theory. So when it comes out, I might be dead. Remember me that you heard this guy say this, that hypertension and diabetes, I think, are due to the same, they share many genes in each of them, even though they are different. There's a connection why you see them going together all the time.
Okay.
Like
all right. So, I have to get back to this now. So, where does exercise fit into this now? Apart from, again, the heart.
All right. So remember two things.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that could lower sugar. The first thing is don't eat it.
Right.
And anything can burn it up. So exercise, burn it up, and you don't eat enough, no need for extra insulin.
Gotcha. Okay.
It all big. The way we can test whether we are doing well is what the exercise and dieting is doing to your sugar, because you can't go and stick your finger and find out where your insulin level is. But there's a direct connection between the height of the sugar and the level of insulin.
That's where I was going with it.
Yeah.
I knew the answer, but I was just checking to see.
Listen, watch yourself. I hope you don't come like the other host I had, who I almost had to give him a complimentary degree. What do they call it again? When the honorary. I might have to do that.
Well,
if you're beginning to
listen,
be able to practice medicine on the side, I have to watch you.
I think I like it. Dr. Tyrone Robertson. Not sounding so bad.
And you know, when you go home to Jamaica, you just have to announce it,
Yes.
You have to go to nobody's school. You start writing it on
That's
paper.
right.
Doctor, you're self-educated.
Honorary.
I don't need no degree from
you have the Google School of Medicine.
And guys ask you, when you graduate, you have to get the initials, the Google School, GSM. I graduate from GSM. Google what?
No, this would be the
site for medicine.
Oh, good. All right, Doc, we're going to take a short break and then we'll be right back.
For the absolute best obstetrics and gynecology care, call South Florida OBGYN at 954-452-4377. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Winston Alexis, who has been serving the women of South Florida for over 25 years. Conveniently located in Plantation, Florida, the courteous and professional team at South Florida OBGYN are standing by to assist you. Schedule your appointment today by calling 954-452-4377.
And we're back to Medically Speaking with Dr. Winston Alexis. So, Doc, you have shared a lot with us so far about diabetes, insulin, weight management, managing the way we eat, exercise.
Right.
So talk to me a little bit about monitoring diabetes or sugar or insulin or all of the above. And tell me a little bit about where it's coming from to where it is today.
All right. At one time, we thought sugar was the problem. Believe me, it's not so long ago either. All when I went through middle school, everybody talked about sugar, sugar, sugar. Insulin was just something you used to treat it. Nobody realized that the damage that goes in these diseases is not from the high sugar, but it's the high insulin. And the sugar is just a marker where the insulin.
Right.
So we need, don't get me wrong, don't underestimate the importance of sugar as something where you could use as a guide to how everything is going. So you actually could monitor yourself. Right? And the time we have learned over the years, the best time to monitor it is fasting in the morning, right? 2 hours after you have a meal.
Okay.
3 o'clock in the evening, and after dinner. That's ideal.
So that is when you should be testing?
And all your blood sugar should be normal at that time. We have fancy name for him. 2 hours after postprandial. What the hell is that? 2 hours after you eat. I tell you, man, we talk that language so all you can't understand it. And so you have to come to me to find out what's wrong with you. So if you want to see how your sugar going, you could anybody could use this strip. I don't have to be a diabetic. But the time to see how your blood sugar doing is when you wake up in the morning before you eat anything, 2 hours after a meal, and most people like to do it 2 hours after lunch. And then again, you do it at 3 o'clock in the evening because that's when it starts, and 2 hours after you eat in the night.
Okay.
But you don't have to do those. The one that, if you have to choose one that is most important, is your fasting blood sugar in the morning.
Okay.
Because that gives you a level. Remember, you're fasting all through the night, so nothing is really stimulating your insulin.
So has the method or the tools or devices that have been used, I suppose back in your early days of medicine, the pricking of the finger and the strip and all of that. What was it like then?
All right. And
then compared to what is it now?
All right. When I was in school, we didn't know what the hell we were talking about. So I hope that clears up. In the 60s, we had know that. Because remember, insulin only come in I think in the 50s or
Right.
So we stick all your sugar. We figure out, you see all the tricks they used to pull on us? Because we never understand the disease. All we know, you're sick, we give you insulin. And then later on, people didn't like the injection, so we work on something you could take by mouth. But the science, I like that word now, didn't come into it until the 70s and 80s.
Really?
Yes. The real science, so we really understand what's happening. Things like insulin resistance. We never hear that back in the day when I in school. All we know is sugar high. And we develop drugs to make your sugar low.
So you're saying as recent as the 80s?
It's when we really begin to just like now, we're now trying to understand how the body, what is nutrition to the body. You see how much people come on TV and talk about it. You know why? Nobody know what the heck they're talking about. Then now I know there are 16 different theories behind weight loss. Calories. The man say eat meat only like a lion. Right. Then a guy say eat bush only. Then one comes say don't eat tomato, don't eat peanuts that I love. What the hell? One say don't matter we eat, just the calories. One say don't matter we eat, stay away from fat. None of them know what they're talking about. What I told you last time is the most recent research that they have in it. That's why I tell you, you asked me a question last time. But my colleagues, I know very few obstetricians and gynecologists know it because it has nothing to do with my daily living.
Right.
However, I ain't throwing words to the primary care. Some of them may not be keeping up with the literature. And remember, people wonder me, in medical school you learn everything, you just branch off in what you want.
Yes.
So now I could self-educate myself, and that's why I've done. Believe me, I don't think anybody could treat high blood pressure, diabetes, prostate cancer like I can. Why is my people condition? So I have gone on my own and learned this. I still ain't know nothing but schizophrenia and mad people. I ain't going over there at all. But you understand? So I could educate myself. That's why they have what I call it, when you go back and refresh your courses. That the things are changing and we have to keep up with it.
The science is obviously changing.
And how I do
quickly.
it in OBGYN, every day I read a piece of a magazine in my profession. New ones. Every day. When I'm drinking my coffee in the morning. Right? So we are now, it's just, look at how long we have flu. And we now learn about this corona could lose the spike and make for because the science is in it now. We are forced into understanding coronavirus.
So, back to this diabetic monitoring now. So, some of these devices now that I see folks wearing on the back of their arm or on their side or that kind of thing.
Type 2 diabetes. Type 1. Let me go there. Have to do it 4 times a day, like I tell you. Because they have their own insulin. They are their own pancreas. The insulin they give. Our own doing it automatically. We're just trying to see if it need tweeting up or down. So we don't need to do it. As I told you, you could put it in your hand. You could stick it and do your finger. Or you could put it on and do it. But the most important ones is fasting in the morning. And one or other, that's 2 hours after you eat. You really only need 2.
And do you recommend or would you suggest to somebody who is pre-diabetic that they monitor? Or,
yes. Yeah. Anybody who would be interested in the level of blood sugar could monitor. If you push it long enough, even those who are dieting. If your problem is glucose, you need to know how much you have in your body at certain lengths of time. And if you want to go through the expense and the inconvenience of doing it.
So let me ask this now.
But more important than that now, is the hemoglobin A1C. And we got to make money somehow. You ain't going to be able to do that on your own. You have to come to my office, my dear boy. We have to live. The hemoglobin A1C is the best marker, not glucose.
Okay.
But you have to come to the doctors to do it. There's no home monitoring for that. But sugar is an indirect way of telling what your hemoglobin A1C should be.
So package this up for me now, Doc. So, as you know, our show is geared towards our community, our people.
Right.
And we want to share with them best practices, the best things to do, the way to address this. Because this diabetes is rampant in our community. It is.
Well, why you give me this trouble?
Listen.
Diabetes is rampant and we like food.
Yes.
The wrong food.
Yes.
So therein lies the problem. All right? I dash away my generation already.
Okay.
Let us start with the children. Fat children are not cute. Pinch up. Oh, look how nice you look. Oh, look how your cheek bubbly. You need to have skinny children. And the way I did it to my own daughter. I won't call her name, but the one I loved the most when she was, nice oh God, she was cuddly. And she's the one end up with the most weight problems in my family. So I'm guilty. Of course, guess what?
Oh God.
There's the diabetic gene in our family.
All right.
Now, back then, I didn't know that. Honestly, if I had known all I know now, I would have treated my own children differently. Right? I wish I could go back in time and start over with my kids when they were teenage. First of all, you were not bubbly. You need to go in the gym. You need to run down the road, chase some goat or something in Jamaica. Yeah? Plumpy kids are not a good thing. You start with the next generation. You teach them 2 things, to eat properly and to exercise. You don't wait till they're 50 years to go in the gym. And it must become a way of life.
Yes, yes.
By the way, my daughter is struggling with her children and smart. She told me when she was talking to the guy who gave them and he's talking about they say they don't want the lesson. What? They don't have no choice.
Oh.
One of them say, they don't get up that early on Saturday.
No.
My daughter say, what are you talking about? He must think it's Yankee children. No, you tell them they have to get up and go walk. Not only that, get them involved in track.
Yes.
Get them involved in dance. Get them involved in volleyball.
Something.
Soccer.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Look at me. When I go to the gym now, and I laugh at some people trying to walk on the treadmill for the first time when they're 60 years old. They can't even keep time. I watch them, I'm saying, oh God, that lady going to fall off this blast.
Any minute now.
And you could blindfold me, tie me 2 hands behind. Why? I running down a soccer ball since I could remember.
That's right.
I could walk. I played cricket. I swimming. I get so much licks for sports. Cricket, run away from school to watch test matches.
Yes.
So exercising is second nature to me.
Mm-hmm.
Believe me, it is second nature. Not that I love it, it's second nature.
Right.
And that's how you have to bring up your children, teach them. And by the way, remember one thing. Carbohydrates, which means sugar, and rice and flour and pasta, is the enemy.
Okay.
It don't mean you don't eat some of it.
Right. But stop loading up.
You could load up with meat. Mm-hmm. Guess this, the new research says fat don't make nobody fat. Because if you eat the fat and you don't have high insulin, the fat is not going to be reserved.
You know, the challenge here, Doc, which is probably something we should say for another show. But listen, let me tell you, feeding these kids is a challenge. And when you have these fast food places that make it so easy and so inexpensive now to get a hamburger and some French fries.
I will not accept that.
That's why I say
that way out.
That's why I say we're going to see it.
I hear them say all of that on TV. I had the same rules about STDs. I had the same rule. Sex was nice, but I had to get it. I ain't making no excuse. It be nice, and no reason why you gonna do it because I will kill you. It's like my father say, if my daughters get pregnant, they're killing everybody in the house. And I'm a little boy saying, Jesus, Tyrone, what I have to do with this? He said, you know why? Because everybody always know the last person to know is the father. Tyrone is the greatest thing I ever see, Tyrone. Like, I have to give you a joke. I see my sister and them talking to boy. Boys, I say, listen, go home. Because I go home and tell daddy, all you're going to make the man kill me, So he had me watching his children. The point I'm making here, because of all of that, yes, all of that is true.
Oh, God.
But you have the obligation to teach your children.
Okay, all right. Reasonable.
Right? That I don't care what they say on McDonald's. When you go in there and you pull out the chips, put down the people chips.
All right.
Go buy an orange.
I hear you.
I need 3 pieces of grapes. So don't tell me all of that is for Americans, not Caribbean American, because we grew up in a society where I did what my father said. And we have to go back to bringing up our children. Eating, listen, then, I swear, my children, ask them if they ever had sweets in my house. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't about weight then. I learned a long time ago that seed give you bad teeth.
Yes.
It's what mashed up my teeth when I was young, and I was determined. My children, I'm sure they eat it, but not in my house.
Not in the house. That's right.
I'm not encouraging that foolishness. Mm-hmm. So it's the same kind of attitude we have to take with.
Well,
eating,
everything has changed, to some extent for the worse. Because
but it's hard to. Don't get me wrong. Yeah,
Sunday used to be the day that the whole family would pack up and go out for a little treat, ice cream. No ice cream in the house every day.
But who make up the word dessert? I learned that when I come here. What the hell is this? You ever hear dessert when you're growing up? My father would say, there was a boy go outside and eat 2 June plum or something. We're talking about dessert. Go pick a mango or something. Dessert. You know what dessert was? Like you say, boy, like if it's Easter Sunday, mommy will make a pale ice cream.
Yes.
Other than that, I look for the popsicle man coming down the road and the snow cone man.
And you cheat.
Yeah,
your teeth where I go.
And I have to make sure I eat it before I reach back home and wash my hand and thing. Because my boy said, Daddy said, boy, you're eating that sweet stuff, it mash up your teeth. But the point I'm making, my parents guided. I hated them for it. But they guided the way I ate.
Until you understood.
They guided on the way I thought. And listen to me. I know I'm off the point, but I'm angry now, so I got to say this. I had one right in my house. I had the right to do what the hell my father was telling me to do.
All right.
All this thing about children are rights. What rights? When you're paying the rent, you're right.
I agree with that.
Right. You need to take hold of your children from young.
Okay, and that has to do with their health, their education,
exactly,
and all of the above.
You brought it up. Health and eating is an integral part of health.
Absolutely,
as far as prevention and stuff like that.
So as I mentioned, we're going to hold that for one of the shows. We're going to talk about that. We're probably not going to get too deep in medicine, but we're going to certainly talk about the family unit.
And don't make me talk about my father no more. That man beat me so much.
Yeah,
but guess what? When I graduate from medical school, you know what I tell him? I swear, I tell him, Daddy, thank you for busting my ass. I swear to God, I said, Daddy, thank you. Because I know where I was headed. I didn't like school. I like everything that bad. And my father said, not on my... He actually told me, Sir Winston, before you spoil this family, then I will kill you.
Okay.
Not the police. I will kill. And I really believe that. So when I graduated, we talked about that. He said, no, I wasn't killing nobody. But I realized you especially, all of them freedom except me and a sister. So he said, you have to put the fear of God in me.
Yes.
And I told him, thank you, because I would be in prison somewhere in Trinidad and about 32 children or so.
All right.
You know, but and that, by the way, I tried to bring up I succeeded most of the way. Well, like I'm going to talk about your friend. Friendship can't come into this program. We talking. No, but I succeeded not all of the way. My kids have been pretty decent kids.
The foundation.
Yeah, yes.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been another wonderful, wonderful episode of Medically Speaking with Dr. Winston Alexis. This show has been produced and presented by the Caribbean American Connection. Until next time.
And don't forget them, Caribbean American Connection, trying to consolidate our community. Right?
All right. Take care. Be safe.
We appreciate your time with us on Medically Speaking with Dr. Winston Alexis, hosted by Tyrone Robertson. Join us next Thursday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on caribcast.tv, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and most other popular podcast platforms. Doc is back. Although the host and guests are qualified professionals, they assume no responsibility for inaccuracies, omissions, inconsistencies, and any slight of people or organizations. Listeners should use their own judgment or consult an expert or their personal physician for specific applications to their individual medical problems.